Once again, comic fans and collectors, thanks for tuning in to Iconic Keys. In March of 1966, Marvel creators Stan Lee and Jack Kirby gave us Fantastic Four, issue 48. Within its pages would be found the first appearances of both Galactus, the Devourer of Worlds, and his herald, the Silver Surfer, Sentinel of the Spaceways. In the creation of Galactus, Lee and Kirby sought to break the archetypal mold of the era's supervillains. They wanted a truly grand, godlike villain whose victory seemed all but assured. The arrival of Galactus came in the wake of other iconic villains created by the duo. Villains that included the Mandarin and Doctor Doom. In this adversary, the pairs conceived a foe that was beyond the cliché of world domination. This enemy not only threatened our hero's way of life, but the very existence of life on Earth itself. The insatiable hunger of Galactus would compel him to consume the planet, along with all of its inhabitants, unless the Fantastic Four could discover a way to deter him. Kirby stated that he drew inspiration from the Bible for the Silver Surfer. As the herald of Galactus, he was comparable to an angel of heaven who trumpeted the cataclysmic end times. Later, after the Surfer's break with Galactus and his exile on Earth, he would be a fallen angel. Fantastic Four 48 was not Lee and Kirby's first foray into the cosmic with Marvel's flagship title. In the less than 5 years since the launch of the book, they had introduced the alien, shape-shifting Skrulls from the Andromeda Galaxy, and Uatu, the Watcher, who first appeared in issue 13. Uatu belonged to a race of aliens who had stationed themselves across the cosmos with the self-appointed task of observing and recording the history of other civilizations. All of this was laying the foundations for what would one day become the larger Marvel Universe, a universe where events would reverberate through other titles from the publisher, such as the X-Men, the Avengers, and Spider-Man. That being said, we were still a long way from massive universe-spanning team-ups such as the Secret Wars event of the 80s or the Infinity Gauntlet series in the 90s. Things were beginning to take shape, though, with Lee and Kirby at the helm. The trilogy opens in issue 48 with The Coming of Galactus. As the issue opens, the Fantastic Four find themselves working alongside Black Bolt of the Inhumans in order to stop his brother Maximus's evil plans to take control of the planet for the Inhuman species. Their ancestors had long ago been altered by the Kree in an effort to create soldiers that could be used against the Skrulls. Until now, they had been content to remain in their city of Etelon and uninvolved in the affairs of the humans. After escaping from Etelon, just before Maximus locks the city away from the outside world, the four heroes head back to New York. Our story then moves to a faraway part of the cosmos, and we get our first look at the Silver Surfer as he cruises through the Andromeda Galaxy. It is at this moment that he is detected by denizens of the Skrull homeworld. Terrified of the Surfer's close proximity to their planet, the Skrulls do everything they can to conceal their world from his detection. When questioned, an older, more experienced Skrull explains to another that it is not the Surfer that is to be feared. Rather, it is his master, who is rarely far behind. Sometime later, on Earth, the Fantastic Four observe the sky, which appears to be awash in flames as they arrive back in New York. Upon arriving at the Baxter Building, Reed sequesters himself in his lab and begins to analyze the situation. The flames in the sky eventually dissipate and are replaced with an expansive field of space debris. Suddenly, the alien known as the Watcher arrives inside Reed's laboratory. He then explains that he is responsible for the atmospheric disturbances, and he has been attempting to conceal Earth's existence from the Silver Surfer. He continues to explain that the Surfer is an advanced scout of Galactus. Galactus is a powerful cosmic being that consumes the elemental energies of entire worlds, leaving them nothing more than dried, lifeless husks. The Surfer arrives in our solar system and soon discovers and investigates the Watcher's debris field. It doesn't take him long to find Earth hidden beneath it. He flies to the roof of the Baxter Building, the location of Uatu's matter mobilizer, which is the source of the efforts to conceal the Earth. Upon arrival there, he sends out a cosmic signal, summoning Galactus. The Fantastic Four speed to the top of the building. Once close enough, the thing goes into clobbering mode and catches the Surfer unaware with a punch, knocking him off the building. High above, in orbit of the Earth, Galactus's planet-devouring spheroidal ship arrives and descends towards Manhattan. The towering giant, Galactus, then exits the ship and declares his intentions to consume the entire planet. The story continues in issue 49 and is entitled, If This Be Doomsday. With Galactus now on Earth, our four heroes can only look on as the Watcher tries to intercede on Earth's behalf. Uatu pleads with the Devourer of Worlds to spare the Earth and its residents. Galactus expresses his indifference to the insignificant lives that he intends to extinguish with the Earth's destruction. With diplomacy seemingly no longer an option, the Thing launches an attack on the Tyrant, but is quickly incapacitated and has to be rescued by Reed. Johnny Storm flames up and takes to the sky to attack Galactus as well. His powers prove insignificant next to the might of the cosmic invader. The Watcher tells them to return to their base, and he will contact them shortly as Galactus begins a search for his herald. Meanwhile, the Silver Surfer, having regained consciousness from the Thing's punch, falls through the skylight of Alicia Masters' nearby apartment. Coincidentally, Alicia Masters is the girlfriend of Ben Grimm. Alicia, a blind sculptor, sensing a wounded and lonely being, offers the Silver Surfer her sympathy and assistance. We then transition to Galactus in the process of assembling his planet-devouring device. Our heroes begin to mobilize and prepare to attack Galactus head-on, which the Watcher counsels against as further futility. Uatu goes on to explain that there is a device aboard Galactus' ship that he will need the Human Torch to collect. Meanwhile, back at Alicia's apartment, Alicia learns of the Surfer's purpose on Earth and appeals to him to turn against his master and help save the planet. He is hesitant at first, but is slowly beginning to feel pity for these humans. The Fantastic Four launch an attack on Galactus' nearly completed planet-consuming device as a diversion. As the Thing begins ripping apart the device, the Planet Eater dispatches a robot from his ship to keep the heroes out of his way while he repairs the machine. With this distraction and delay, the Watcher utilizes some advanced technology to boost Storm's powers to a degree that will allow him to travel to Galactus' ship. Finally, Alicia's pleas have convinced the Surfer to help save the Earth, and he sets off to confront his master. The story concludes in The Startling Saga of the Silver Surfer. The issue opens with the Silver Surfer arriving at the Baxter Building to try and derail Galactus' efforts to destroy the planet. The Surfer opens up with cosmic energy blasts from his hands as he sails above New York. The Surfer demands that Galactus cease his destructive endeavors. Although perplexed and angered by the Surfer's betrayal, he is undaunted in his desire to consume the Earth. As powerful as the Surfer's blasts may be, they prove ineffective at penetrating Galactus' defenses. The confrontation between the Surfer and his master, although fruitless in dissuading the ambitions of Galactus, does provide enough time for Johnny Storm to return. The Human Torch arrives on the scene with the weapon that Uatu sent him to retrieve from the ship and immediately gives it to Reed. Reed extends his arm with the weapon in hand, a weapon known as the Ultimate Nullifier, an item capable of apparently killing even the mighty Galactus. Galactus offers to leave the Earth unharmed if Reed returns the weapon to him. With assurances from Uatu that Galactus' word can be trusted, Reed hands over the device. True to his word, Galactus leaves, but not before first relieving the Silver Surfer of his duties as Galactus' herald, and also stripping the Surfer of his ability to traverse the cosmos. The Silver Surfer is now exiled to and confined on the planet he has helped save, no longer a sojourner of the spaceways. After the battle, Alicia Masters also arrives on the scene to thank Silver Surfer for his brave actions. This does not sit well with Ben Grimm, who becomes rather jealous. Following the departure of Ben Grimm, we see the Surfer take to the sky to begin exploring the new planet that is now his home. After the departure of Galactus, life begins to return to normal. The media dismisses the events of Galactus' visit as nothing more than a hoax. Our heroes once again try to carry on with some sense of normalcy, juggling the drama of their personal lives while still being members of the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four were certainly not the first superheroes in comics, but their arrival on the scene heralded a new age. With this series, Lee and Kirby were trying to craft something outside the existing molds previously seen in comics. The book had a wide array of tones and stories which were building the framework for a larger Marvel universe with a greater emphasis on continuity. The Fantastic Four embodied themes of exploration, imagination, science, and adventure. However, there was one theme that loomed large above all of those, that of family. These days, Marvel's first family have to share the spotlight with a multitude of other heroes in their universe. In 1961, at the dawn of the Silver Age, though, they were the only show in town. The roots of so many characters and universe-defining traits in the House of Marvel find their origins in the pages of those early issues of Fantastic Four. In the last few years, interest in the Fantastic Four seems to have waned, and their titles saw a temporary hiatus. I think this hiatus and this waning interest was mainly due to extenuating circumstances. Circumstances that arose from forces at work well beyond the pages of their comic book. For whatever reasons, the fact now is that the First Family is back completely under Marvel's banner where they belong. The original print runs on these 3 issues were nearly 300,000 each. Not a small number to be certain. That's almost 100,000 more than the circulation of the same book around the mid-70s. Issue 48, 49, and 50 are now nearly 55 years old and steadily growing in price. If you want a copy of the Galactus Trilogy in your collection, there's no better time than the present to try to find the right set for you. They're just not going to get any cheaper. I've heard some collectors express a belief that Fantastic Four 48 could be the next Amazing Fantasy 15, meaning a huge explosion in its price at some point in the near future. Until next time, thanks for watching and take care.